Cesar finally agreed to meet me again, and this time he let me photograph him. But he was paranoid, wouldn't tell me where he lived or where he worked, so we meet in an old Santiago cemetery.
La idea es conmemorarlo, la idea es mantener vivo el recuerdo de gente trabajadora que se sacrificó por el resto de la gente, por el resto de un pueblo.
Cesar's been on this path since he was a kid. His father was in Pinochet's military, and when Cesar was 8, they moved from a small city in Patagonia to the capital. And in Santiago, Cesar was shocked that people lacked what he calls basic social values, often didn't even say hello or thank you. He also started worrying about other signs of moral decay, drugs, broken homes. By the time he was 15, Cesar had started thinking that if the police weren't doing anything to protect people, maybe he should. In his telling of the story, he became a neo-Nazi skinhead to deliver his fellow Chileans from evil, not harm them. But his parents didn't see it that way.
Comenzaban hablándome sobre la vestimenta, sobre lo que me podía pasar por andar con la bandera o con la esvástica. Entonces las conversaciones se tornaban a la ideología y ahí empezaban a criticar la ideología, que era una ideología mala, asesina, que no tenía nada que ver con Chile.
Cesar's vague about where he learned about Nazi history, how the cells are organized, or the chain of command. He does admit that in the group he hung out with, there were older skinheads, and one gave him his first black flight jacket, the uniform for skinheads worldwide. But whenever he'd put on the jacket and his army boots, he tells me, his parents freaked out, and the arguments between them flared. So he started wearing normal clothes and changing at a friend's place before going out on sweeps. He and his buddies would find a good target, a potential pickpocket, an alcoholic, some punk rockers, and attack.
Nos reíamos de la basura, o sea, de ver cómo gente tan decadente tomaba las armas contra ti y terminaban perdiendo.
When he tells me about the night he came across 2 Peruvian immigrants who he says were trying to rape a Chilean woman, he laughs.
¿Cuánto les pegamos a ellos? Harto. Y lo dejamos mal en el suelo.
Y ahí fue donde me pegaron. Pertenecíamos a un grupo, no sé, tribu urbana que se les llama, de los punk. Empezaron a haber disturbios con los nazis.
Y llegaron estos tipos, alrededor de 10 personas, medio andaban con combates, con pistolas, con sables, y nosotros corrimos.
Daniela Fuentes and Gustavo Castillo live about 2 miles east of Cesar. Their neighborhood, Puente Alto, was once a tiny pueblo that's been swallowed by the sprawl of suburban Santiago. It's also the center of Chilean neo-Nazi culture.
Nos amenazaban con las armas que traían. Y son la escoria de la sociedad y los vamos a matar. Y uno de los mismos nazis le dice al otro que le estaba pegando a mi pololo, le dice, oye, ten cuidado porque le estás pegando a una mujer. Y este gallo como que saca valentía de adentro y le dice, ¿qué mujer? Y me pegó el palo en el tobillo. Sonaron como 2 palos de escoba que chocaban. Quedé con el tobillo molido.
Daniela and Gustavo pressed charges, which is rare. Several minors were let off, and 2 adults were prosecuted. One, Esteban Gonzalez, a martial arts teacher and neo-Nazi leader, was released from jail in 2005 for good behavior. Then, the next year, he and 3 other neo-Nazis beat 18-year-old punk rocker Tomás Vilches to death. Last November, Gonzalez was sentenced to just 6 years in prison. There's still no hate crime or anti-discrimination law on the books in Chile, even though activists have been pushing Congress to pass one for 16 years. When I talk with the prosecutor of the case, Patricio Cooper, he says he needs more tools to stop the neo-Nazis.
Yo creo que en el fondo, con esta ideología se ataca la democracia. En ese sentido, entonces, debería existir una sanción mayor para que la sociedad se proteja de este tipo de pensamiento.